The world she couldn't see. Amina could hear the future before it arrived. She heard it in the confident strides of young inventors pacing across the polished stage. She heard it in the rhythmic tapping of fingers against tablet screens and in the hushed whispers of competitors running last-minute checks on their high-tech gadgets. She even heard it in the distant hum of cameras, broadcasting the event to millions. But the future, at least the one being discussed today, wasn't made for people like her. The Global Young Innovators Conference was where the world's brightest minds unveiled technologies that would change humanity. Amina had spent her entire life adapting to a world built for those who could see. Today, she was here to make the world adapt to her. She took a slow breath, feeling the weight of 1,000 unseen eyes on her. Her hands curled around the smooth metal of her cane as she stepped onto the stage. The room hushed. The judges, billionaire investors, world-renowned scientists, and at the very center, Elon Musk himself, watched as she took her place behind the microphone. A competitor before her had just demonstrated a humanoid robot that could walk, talk, and even dance. The audience had erupted in cheers. Amina had no flashy visuals, no moving parts, just an idea. She adjusted the small earpiece connected to her AI-powered assistant. "Whenever you're ready, Amina," a soft voice prompted in her ear. She lifted her chin. "Mr. Musk," she began, her voice steady, "you've spent billions trying to colonize Mars. But what if I told you that you're ignoring an entire world right here on Earth?" A ripple of murmurs spread through the audience. The judges exchanged glances. Musk leaned forward, intrigued. "I'm listening." Amina let a small smile form on her lips. "Good," she said. "Because I'm about to show you a future you've never seen before." Amina could feel the tension in the room. 1,000 silent expectations pressed against her like an invisible wave, waiting for her to fail. She didn't. Taking a deep breath, she pressed a small button on the device strapped to her wrist. "The future is sound," she said. A soft hum filled the auditorium. Then, a robotic voice spoke. "Person detected, 6 feet ahead. Height, 5 feet 10 inches. Likely male. Blue suit. Walking at moderate speed." A murmur of confusion ran through the crowd. Amina smiled. "This is my AI assistant, Echo," she continued. "Unlike every smart device designed today, Echo doesn't rely on a screen. It doesn't need images or text. It sees the world the way I do, through sound." She turned her head slightly, as if locking onto a distant signal. "And right now, it's telling me that the man walking toward me is Mr. Andrew Whitman, one of the judges. Am I right?" The judge in question, startled, glanced at his blue suit. He nodded, impressed. Amina continued. "For people like me, the world is not about what you see. It's about what you perceive, what you hear, what you feel. Yet, almost every piece of technology today assumes that vision is the only way to navigate the world." She let that sink in before delivering the punch. "You build rockets to Mars, Mr. Musk. You design self-driving cars. But what if I told you that your AI, your cutting-edge technology, everything you've built, is still blind?" Silence. Then, the softest exhale from the microphone in front of Musk. She had his attention. He tapped his fingers against his chair, thinking. "So, what exactly are you proposing?" Amina straightened. "I'm proposing that the next phase of AI and technology should be designed for everyone, not just those who can see. Right now, the visually impaired rely on outdated tools, walking sticks, guide dogs, braille that most people don't even learn. My invention, Echo, turns the world into an immersive, 3D soundscape. It describes movement, distances, objects, everything, in real time." The audience shifted in their seats, intrigued. "I'm not asking you to stop exploring space," Amina said, her voice unwavering. "I'm asking you to think bigger. Before you take humanity to Mars, why not make Earth fully accessible to all humans first?" Musk leaned back, rubbing his chin. A slow smirk formed. "I like you," he said. "Tell me more." The murmurs in the audience had faded into an expectant silence. Amina could feel the weight of Musk's gaze on her, analyzing, calculating. He was used to being the visionary in the room, the one who saw beyond what others could imagine. But today, he was facing a girl who had never seen a single star, yet dared to challenge his vision of the future. Musk leaned forward, his voice thoughtful but sharp. "Your idea is interesting. But tell me this, why should I, or anyone here, prioritize your technology over interplanetary travel?" Amina had expected this question. She tilted her head slightly, listening to the subtle hum of machines, the faint rustling of people shifting in their seats. Then she smiled. "Because what's the point of building the future," she said, "if millions of people can't be part of it?" A beat of silence. Then a murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Musk's lips twitched, but he wasn't convinced yet. Humanity must become a multiplanetary species to survive long-term. We can't let all our resources go into solving individual problems on Earth when the real challenge is ensuring our species doesn't go extinct. Amina nodded. "I understand that. But let me ask you something, Mr. Musk. If you woke up tomorrow and you were blind, would you still see the future the same way?" The question hung in the air. Musk was silent for a moment, then shrugged. "I'd adapt." Amina chuckled. "That's what you think. But you wouldn't be able to read your messages, see your rockets, or recognize the people around you. And the worst part? 99% of technology today wouldn't help you. Because the world isn't built for the blind." Musk tapped his fingers against the table. "You make a compelling point." Amina took a step closer to the microphone. "You see space as the next frontier. I see accessibility as the first one. You want to build for the next generation of humanity. But how can we talk about the future when 285 million visually impaired people are still struggling with a world designed for sighted people?" The room was dead silent. Even the investors and scientists, who had come expecting to discuss space travel and AI advancements, were leaning in, hooked. Musk finally let out a breath. "All right, Amina. Let's say I'm interested. What do you need?" Amina smiled, "A chance to prove that my AI can do more than just help the blind. It can change the way we all experience the world." Musk nodded. "Fine. Come to my facility. Let's see what you've got." Amina tightened her grip on her cane. She had won the first battle. But the real test was just beginning. Amina sat in the back of the Tesla, listening to the soft hum of the electric motor as it glided down the California highway. The moment she had stepped off that stage, the world had changed. Journalists wanted interviews. Investors whispered about her project. And most importantly, Elon Musk himself had invited her to his SpaceX facility. She was about to prove that vision wasn't about sight, it was about perception. Next to her, Dr. Elaine Carter, an AI specialist assigned to oversee her visit, cleared her throat. "You do realize you've challenged one of the most influential minds in tech, right?" Amina smirked. "Yeah. That was kind of the point." Dr. Carter chuckled. "Musk doesn't lose debates easily. But you got him thinking." Amina traced her fingers along the cool metal of her wrist device. Echo. "Good. Because I need him to see what I see." The car slowed as they entered the SpaceX compound. Amina felt the energy shift, voices buzzing with activity, footsteps quick with purpose. A place where the future was being built. She tightened her grip on her cane. Time to shake things up. Inside the Innovation Lab. The lab smelled of metal, ozone, and raw ambition. Machines whirred, engineers shouted numbers, and robotic arms assembled components that would soon defy gravity. Musk stood near a table covered in blueprints, looking up as Amina entered. "Welcome to SpaceX." Amina took a deep breath, feeling the room through sound alone. She could sense people shifting as they watched her. "You work fast," she said. "I was expecting a follow-up email, not a personal tour." Musk smirked. "I don't waste time. You're here because I'm curious if your AI can actually do what you claim." He gestured toward a screen. "We're working on AI-assisted robotics for space exploration. Our systems rely on visual data, but you claim your tech works through sound perception. Prove it." Amina's fingers hovered over Echo. She had anticipated skepticism. Now was her moment. She pressed a button. The robotic voice of Echo filled the air. Objects detected, 3 feet ahead. Metal table. Blueprint papers. 2 pens. To the right, Elon Musk, 6 feet 2 inches, black shirt, hands in pockets. Behind him, 3 engineers. Observing. The room went still. Musk's expression didn't change, but Amina could hear the subtle shift in his breathing. Not bad, he admitted. But observation isn't the same as understanding. Amina smiled. Then let's push it further. She turned toward the engineers. One of you, pick up an object. Make it unpredictable. One of the engineers grabbed something off the table. Echo processed for a second, then spoke, motion detected, object lifted. Material, plastic. Shape, rectangular. Potential items, ID badge, remote, phone. Musk raised an eyebrow. Impressive. But how will this help real people in real situations? Amina's expression turned serious. Imagine a blind person walking into a dangerous environment, like a disaster zone. Instead of relying on limited touch and sound, they can now hear objects, movements, and even danger approaching before it happens. Musk nodded slowly. She had his full attention now. Then he did something unexpected. He pulled a small metal cube from his pocket and threw it toward Amina. Gasps erupted in the room. Someone started to move forward, but before anyone could react, Amina tilted her head slightly, listening. Echo's voice cut through the air. Incoming object. Speed, 8 miles per hour. Material, metal. Distance, 2 feet. Amina raised her hand and caught it mid-air. The room fell into stunned silence. Musk exhaled a short laugh. All right, now I'm impressed. Amina smirked. Took you long enough. Amina sat in the back of the Tesla, listening to the soft hum of the electric motor as it glided down the California highway. The moment she had stepped off that stage, the world had changed. Journalists wanted interviews. Investors whispered about her project. And most importantly, Elon Musk himself had invited her to his SpaceX facility. She was about to prove that vision wasn't about sight, it was about perception. Next to her, Dr. Elaine Carter, an AI specialist assigned to oversee her visit, cleared her throat. You do realize you've challenged one of the most influential minds in tech, right? Amina smirked. Yeah. That was kind of the point. Dr. Carter chuckled. Musk doesn't lose debates easily. But you got him thinking. Amina traced her fingers along the cool metal of her wrist device. Echo. Good. Because I need him to see what I see. The car slowed as they entered the SpaceX compound. Amina felt the energy shift, voices buzzing with activity, footsteps quick with purpose. A place where the future was being built. She tightened her grip on her cane. Time to shake things up. Inside the innovation lab. The lab smelled of metal, ozone, and raw ambition. Machines whirred, engineers shouted numbers, and robotic arms assembled components that would soon defy gravity. Musk stood near a table covered in blueprints, looking up as Amina entered. Welcome to SpaceX. Amina took a deep breath, feeling the room through sound alone. She could sense people shifting as they watched her. You work fast, she said. I was expecting a follow-up email, not a personal tour. Musk smirked. I don't waste time. You're here because I'm curious if your AI can actually do what you claim. He gestured toward a screen. We're working on AI-assisted robotics for space exploration. Our systems rely on visual data, but you claim your tech works through sound perception. Prove it. Amina's fingers hovered over Echo. She had anticipated skepticism. Now was her moment. She pressed a button. The robotic voice of Echo filled the air. Objects detected, 3 feet ahead. Metal table. Blueprint papers. 2 pens. To the right, Elon Musk, 6 feet 2 inches, black shirt, hands in pockets. Behind him, 3 engineers. Observing. The room went still. Musk's expression didn't change, but Amina could hear the subtle shift in his breathing. Not bad, he admitted. But observation isn't the same as understanding. Amina smiled. Then let's push it further. She turned toward the engineers. One of you, pick up an object. Make it unpredictable. One of the engineers grabbed something off the table. Echo processed for a second, then spoke, motion detected, object lifted. Material, plastic. Shape, rectangular. Potential items, ID badge, remote, phone. Musk raised an eyebrow. Impressive. But how will this help real people in real situations? Amina's expression turned serious. Imagine a blind person walking into a dangerous environment, like a disaster zone. Instead of relying on limited touch and sound, they can now hear objects, movements, and even danger approaching before it happens. Musk nodded slowly. She had his full attention now. Then he did something unexpected. He pulled a small metal cube from his pocket and threw it toward Amina. Gasps erupted in the room. Someone started to move forward, but before anyone could react, Amina tilted her head slightly, listening. Echo's voice cut through the air. Incoming object. Speed, 8 miles per hour. Material, metal. Distance, 2 feet. Amina raised her hand and caught it mid-air. The room fell into stunned silence. Musk exhaled a short laugh. All right, now I'm impressed. Amina smirked. Took you long enough. Amina sat in one of the sleek glass-walled conference rooms inside SpaceX's headquarters, the hum of distant machinery and muffled conversations filling the space. Across from her, a team of Musk's top AI engineers stared at her with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Musk leaned against the table, arms crossed. All right, Amina. You impressed us. But developing AI on this scale isn't a one-person job. If you want Echo to change the world, you'll need to work with my team. Amina folded her arms. That's why I'm here, isn't it? Dr. Carter, who had been silent until now, adjusted her glasses. We have a proposal for you. We want to integrate Echo's sound-based navigation into Tesla's autonomous driving system. Imagine an AI that doesn't just see the road but hears its surroundings, anticipating movement before it happens. Amina's fingers drummed against the table. She hadn't expected this. She thought she'd be working on accessibility tech, helping the visually impaired. I get what you're saying, she replied, but my goal isn't to improve self-driving cars. It's to make the world more accessible for blind and visually impaired people. Musk leaned in. And you will. But think bigger. If your AI can predict movement, interpret sound, and guide people, why stop at just the blind? What if it could make every human more aware? What if everyone could see the world the way you do? Amina hesitated. The idea was huge. Echo wouldn't just be an accessibility tool. It would redefine how people interact with their surroundings. Dr. Carter continued. We'd start with 2 phases. First, integrating Echo into Tesla's AI to refine its predictive abilities. Second, we develop a wearable version, something anyone, blind or sighted, could use to navigate the world more intuitively. Amina's heart pounded. This was bigger than she imagined. You're asking me to turn Echo into something that could change human perception. Musk nodded. Exactly. Amina exhaled. Then I have one condition. Musk raised an eyebrow. Name it. Amina's expression hardened. No matter how big this gets, Echo's first priority will always be accessibility. I didn't come here to build another gadget for the rich. This technology needs to reach the people who need it most. For a moment, Musk studied her. Then he smirked. Deal. Amy was given full access to Tesla's AI division. The first time she stepped into the lab, she felt like she had walked into the heart of the future. The air was thick with the scent of metal and circuitry. Rows of high-powered computers processed endless streams of data. Engineers huddled over sleek monitors, refining algorithms that would soon control autonomous cars, humanoid robots, and spacefaring AI. But all Amina cared about was Echo. She sat at a workstation, running her fingers over the touch-sensitive interface. If this worked, Echo wouldn't just be an assistant, it would be a revolution. Musk's lead engineer, Victor Huang, approached. So, you really think sound-based AI can outmatch vision-based systems? Amina smirked. I don't think. I know. He scoffed. Bold. But vision is how we process the world. If you're saying we should rely on sound, I'm saying we're limiting ourselves by thinking vision is the only way. Amina turned toward him. Imagine an AI that isn't distracted by bright lights, fog, or optical illusions. One that hears danger before it appears. One that works in complete darkness. Victor paused. Go on. Amina activated Echo. The device scanned the room, mapping it entirely through sound. People think sight is the ultimate sense. But close your eyes for a second. Victor hesitated, then obeyed. Now, listen, Amina continued. You can hear the faint buzz of the monitors, the footsteps of someone walking behind you, the air conditioning, the typing on keyboards. If you trained your brain to process all this, you'd never need your eyes to know what's happening around you. Victor opened his eyes, stunned. You're not wrong. Amina smiled. That's what Echo is. It's not just for the blind, it's for anyone who wants to perceive the world beyond sight. Victor leaned in, suddenly fascinated. All right. Let's build this thing. After months of development, it was time. Amina stood in an open-air testing ground, a simulated city environment where Tesla's AI was put through real-world challenges. Strapped to her wrist was Echo version 2.0, a sleeker, more powerful version of her AI assistant. It was now linked to Tesla's self-driving AI, capable of hearing the environment and predicting movement with near-human intuition. Musk, Dr. Carter, Victor, and a dozen other engineers watched as the test began. Amina tapped Echo's interface. Let's do this. A countdown beeped in her earpiece. 3, 2, 1. Amina took off. The streets were designed with unpredictable elements, moving vehicles, sudden obstacles, shifting environments. But Echo adapted in real time. Crosswalk detected. Pedestrian approaching at 2 o'clock. Proceed at normal pace. Bicycle approaching from behind. Maintain straight path. Large truck turning left. Adjust direction 15 degrees. Amina moved with confidence, dodging obstacles and changing direction effortlessly. She wasn't just navigating, she was flowing. Musk's engineers watched in disbelief. She's moving faster than any AI-guided test subject we've ever seen. Echo isn't just reacting. It's predicting, almost like a second brain. This could change everything. Then Musk spoke. She's not using AI to assist her. She's using AI to evolve. Amina reached the end of the test zone and stopped, breathing hard. She turned toward Musk. So, what do you think? Musk smirked. I think you just proved something important. Amina raised an eyebrow. And what's that? Musk stepped forward, his voice filled with rare admiration. That maybe the future of AI isn't just about seeing more. Maybe it's about perceiving more. Amina smiled. Welcome to my world, Mr. Musk. Amina's fingers hovered over her phone screen. The message stared back at her, cold and direct. Not everyone wants this technology to exist. Be careful. Before she could even process it, the power in her office flickered. The monitors dimmed. A moment of eerie silence followed, then the hum of machines slowly returned. She tightened her grip on her phone. This wasn't a coincidence. Footsteps sounded from the hallway. A sharp knock on her door. Victor's voice cut through the tension. Amina, we have a problem. She opened the door, her face unreadable. What happened? Victor stepped inside, shutting the door behind him. We were breached. Her stomach dropped. Breach? How bad? Victor ran a hand through his hair. Someone tried to access Echoteca's mainframe. Our security system flagged an unauthorized attempt to extract Echo's source code. Amina's heart pounded. Did they get in? Victor shook his head. No, but they got close. Too close. Amina clenched her fists. Who was it? Victor hesitated. We traced the attack back to an anonymous server, but it was routed through multiple locations. Whoever did this knew what they were doing. Amina exhaled sharply. We need to tighten security. Double encrypt the AI core, restrict access to critical files, and... Victor cut her off. Already on it. But, Amina, this wasn't just a hacker trying their luck. She frowned. What do you mean? Victor lowered his voice. This was a deliberate attack. Someone wants Echo's technology. And if they can't steal it... Amina finished his sentence. They'll try to stop me from building it. A chill ran down her spine. Whoever was behind this, they were serious. The next morning, Amina found herself sitting in Elon Musk's office again. But this time, the conversation wasn't about innovation. It was about survival. Musk leaned forward, hands clasped. You're disrupting industries, Amina. That means you're making enemies. Amina stayed silent, listening. Musk continued. Think about it. If Echo succeeds, it changes everything. It threatens existing AI giants, surveillance companies, and even governments that rely on vision-based tech. A system that hears the world instead of sees it? That's powerful. Amina nodded slowly. I expected pushback. But hacking our system? Sending threats? Musk's voice was grave. This is just the beginning. If someone is trying to stop you now, it means they see you as a real threat. And people in power don't like losing control. Amina leaned back, taking it all in. She had started this journey for accessibility, for inclusion, to help people. Amina moved fast. She slipped out through the small balcony behind her apartment, climbing down the fire escape. Below, a Tesla Model X waited, autopilot engaged. She barely reached the car before the apartment door burst open above. Dark figures stormed inside. Too late. She slammed the door shut, and the Tesla peeled off into the night. Her hands shook as she buckled in. She had escaped. But just barely. One thing was now clear. This wasn't just about technology anymore. This was survival. And Amina wasn't going down without a fight. Amina sat in the back of the Tesla Model X, her heart hammering against her ribs. The city lights blurred past the windows as the car sped through the streets on autopilot. Her phone rang. Elon Musk. She answered immediately. I'm out. Good. I have a secure location for you. Stay put. We need to plan our next move. Amina clenched her fists. They tried to kill me, Elon. This isn't just business to them. They want me gone. Musk's voice was unreadable. And we're going to make sure they don't succeed. The car turned down a private road, slowing as it approached a heavily guarded SpaceX facility. Armed security officers stood at the gates, letting the vehicle through. Amina exhaled. For now, she was safe. Inside a sleek underground control room, Musk, Dr. Carter, and a few key security and tech experts were waiting for her. Musk wasted no time. Let's talk options. Dr. Carter pulled up the decrypted files on a massive screen. This is what they're afraid of. Amina listened as the documents were read aloud. The evidence was damning. Neuralsight was actively manipulating governments, law enforcement, and private security firms, ensuring that their AI-controlled surveillance systems became the global standard. If Ecotech succeeded, their monopoly would collapse. They don't want AI that makes the world more accessible, Musk said. They want AI that keeps the world under control. Amina's stomach turned. This wasn't just about business. It was about freedom. We can't just sit on this, she said. We have to expose them. Dr. Carter hesitated. It's not that simple. If we release this recklessly, Neuralsight will bury the truth under counter-narratives, lawsuits, and political influence. Musk nodded. We need a plan. Something strategic. Amina thought for a moment. Then an idea struck her. What if we don't just expose them? What if we make them irrelevant? All eyes turned to her. We take Echo public. Fully open source it. Let the world use it. Developers, scientists, activists, accessibility advocates. If everyone has access to this technology, Neuralsight can't control it anymore. Dr. Carter's eyes widened. You'd be giving up billions in potential revenue. Amina's voice was firm. I don't care about billions. I care about impact. Musk smirked, impressed. Now that's thinking long-term. The next morning, the world woke up to a bombshell. A live-streamed event, Amina Hassan, standing alongside Elon Musk, unveiling Ecotech to the world. Echo is no longer just a company. It's a movement. Starting today, our AI technology will be open source, free for developers, researchers, and innovators worldwide. We believe technology should empower people, not control them. The Internet exploded. Elon Musk backs the biggest open-source AI project ever. Ecotech defies billion-dollar corporations. Neuralsight's monopoly faces existential threat. And then, the leaks dropped. Using encrypted channels, Amina and her team released the Neuralsight files to independent journalists and investigative platforms. The evidence spread like wildfire. Governments launched investigations. Investors pulled funding from Neuralsight. Protesters flooded social media, demanding accountability. The very system that had protected them was now turning against them. Neuralsight tried to fight back. Lawsuits, smear campaigns, even threats. But it was too late. Echo wasn't just a product anymore. It was a revolution. And Amina, she had just changed the future of AI forever. Months later, Amina stood at the top of a SpaceX facility, feeling the breeze against her skin. Ecotech was thriving. Developers from around the world had improved the system, creating new applications Amina had never imagined. Blind individuals were using Echo to navigate freely. Autonomous vehicles used Echo's sensory AI to improve safety. Even doctors were integrating Echo into medical diagnostics, proving that AI could hear things the human ear couldn't. She had started this journey to help the blind. Now she had helped everyone. Her phone buzzed. A new message from Musk. "You did good, kid." Amina smiled. She had walked through darkness, faced impossible odds, fought against forces far more powerful than herself. And in the end, she had won. If you loved this story and want more thrilling, thought-provoking content, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Inkless Echo. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's dive into more stories that challenge, inspire, and spark imagination. See you in the next one.